Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Abby, and in today's video I'm taking you on a plant room tour. So I call this my plant room. It's also doubling as my office, and it's also kind of where we chill out in the evenings as well, just because it's got the baby mat in here, it's got baby's toys, and you know, it's kind of quite a versatile room, which will explain why some of the plants are in the way that they are, so they can't be like grabbed by little hands. So I have waited to film this video because you'll see behind me we've got the wardrobe from my old flat. So if you have been following me for a while, my flat that we moved out from a year ago was beautiful. It was very curated. It was I loved it. It was like a really aesthetically pleasing home, but our tenant didn't want that wardrobe anymore. She wanted to swap it out and put a clothes rail there instead. I don't know. Long story short, I have the wardrobe, which is totally fine because I needed the space. But I've been waiting for that to come because I've had a complete like mix around in here. We've baby-proofed the room, moved some plants, and I'm absolutely loving the setup. So I'm really excited to show you, and we'll just get straight into the video. So we're going to start from this corner and work our way around the room. I think that's the easiest way to show you. But this setup here is new. I've got two very large variegated monsteras here. This shelf above the pig's cage is new. That's been built by my husband. We needed somewhere this wide plant could be, whilst also getting good light, also accommodating for the 5-foot moss pole. So this has come in really, really handy. So I absolutely love these two plants here, and I'll spin you around and show you them closer. So here they are closer. I've got this very large variegated monstera. When I bought this plant, it was, I think this was the last leaf. So I've grown all of these leaves, and I do think my theory is right. A few people have agreed with me, but the leaves on the right hand side of the plant are less variegated, and the leaves on the left are highly variegated. I think there's like a pattern. But I absolutely love this plant. I've recently put it on a moss bowl, a very large one. It's a cocoa coir pole to be precise, because the leaves are coming in slightly smaller. So this is slightly smaller than this one, and this one's smaller than this one. But I do have a new leaf on the way. It is very, very early stages, but it's not rooted to the cocoa coir pole, so I do expect that to be smaller, which is a shame. But in other news, this plant is a bit higgledy-piggledy. It doesn't face the same way like this one does. You can see that I bought these at the same time, and my other two are very similar to this, but this one is doing its own thing. Which is annoying because it's got the better variegation in my opinion. But this pole here is to kind of turn those leaves around so they face this way. They're not damaging it, don't worry. And this is the support pole. So this is a moss pole alternative. I'll zoom in and you can see it's actually made from potato peel and other stuff. I got this from Grow Tropicals, but I know a few other places do it. I've had this on here for a month. Excuse my husband's sock, I'll explain why it's like this. But this root here is absolutely stuck on there already. It's amazing. But this is so good. The plant loves it so much. The actual stem was stuck to it, including where the new leaf grows, and it damaged it. And that only happened after a week. So I protected it with a sock, a clean sock, but a sock. So whilst we're here, I'm going to show you the plants on the windowsill. I'm going to bring them out just because it's very, very heavily backlit. This house, all of the windows are facing, I think it's south. I'll put it on the screen if it's incorrect. And we've got two windows at the back which get north. The light in this house is amazing. The windows are huge. I think they're about 6 foot. Sometimes they're bigger. Which also means it's very cold as well because this is an old stone built house. But the lighting is great, which is what we want. But I'll show you the plants on the windowsill. So like I said, I have just had to move around, but I have got a lot of Hoya on this windowsill. If not, everything is a Hoya. And I do find Hoya can tolerate direct light really well. especially this one. So this is a Hoya Sunrise. This is a really, really beautiful plant. I bought this as it was a Hoya question mark. I bought it from House of Kojo, and I don't believe they knew the variety. It was, I'm not going to be able to find old footage. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll find a photo. It was green. It was just green. Literally not even like that. It was green. And now it's like the deepest red. It's so beautiful. It's got the most amazing veins. Like it's a favourite plant of mine. Always has been since I've had it, always will be. So that loves direct light on the windowsill. So this is a plant I bought from a very local garden centre. When I bought it, it was a very rare, hard to come by plant. I do think they're a lot easier to come by now. It's growing really well. It hasn't grown the whole of the winter season, which is quite normal. But it has given me lots of peduncles, and in just generally it's quite a happy, easy plant. So the next plant I have is a Hoya macrophylla. Is this a macrophylla pot of gold? I think this is the pot of gold. It's a bit light or top heavy at the moment because it's just had a water, but it's so heavy. The pot size is tiny. It likes it. Hoya likes to be more compacted, but I think it's this leaf that throws it off. It's just going to throw it out right at the end, which is okay, but it's a bit weird. But yeah, this is a Hoya macrophylla pot of gold. It does normally just give me the nicest sun-kissed, sun-stressed Hoya leaves, but it has only just been put back in the window. So yeah, I think in the summer months this will come back and it goes like a really, really dark red, but I don't necessarily, I prefer the sunrise sun-stressed. I don't like this so sun-stressed. So yeah, I'm kind of happy with it how it is. This next one is going to have a name on the screen. I honestly haven't spoken about this in so long, I forget the name of it. It's so beautiful. This also, and I'll find pictures because I know I definitely have them, it normally would be very, very dark and red for me, but this is extremely green at the moment. Honestly, when this is sun stressed, it's like the prettiest plant. But it's not been getting that really hot direct light. This used to live right under a grow light in my flat, so the natural light I don't think is harsh enough for it, but come summer I think it will be right back there. So here we have the doorway. So as you come in, right ahead of me are the variegated monstera that I just showed you, and the windowsill. And excuse things like this, we're renovating this house, so it's a work in progress, so you will see kind of things like that around the room. But this is a Syngonium albo, so a variegated Syngonium. This is a new one to me. It's been quarantined, so it lives in here now. It's kind of past the 2-week mark, with no problems so far, luckily. This is a plant I bought my husband. I have another one on the other side of the room that he loves so much. It just only produces white leaves, so it just never grows, and I've had that for about 2 years. So I bought another one I bought this for him because he loves this plant and it's really beautiful. It's doing so well, and yeah, there's not really much to say about this other than I'm loving the nice balance of green to white, so that's great. This next one is a variegated Epipremnum. It's not the most variegated, and that's the problem with buying plants online and not picking them out yourself, because I wouldn't have bought this home. I don't think. I still think it's beautiful and I've always wanted one, but it just isn't. I mean, the leaf shape alone, the way the fenestrations are, it's so beautiful. It's just not variegated enough. But I always knew that was a risk, and it was relatively cheap. I think it was £12. It might have been less, so I thought it was worth the risk. But I do love it, just not as much as I would if it was like very, very variegated. And up here, I won't get this down because it's a bit high. Up here we have a really beautiful, it's called a global green pothos. I don't know if that's like the real name, but it is a global green pothos to me. I've had this for a year and it's growing really well. I will turn you around and show you. So it's growing extremely well. Leaves are coming in smaller, But yeah, I think it's really beautiful. It's a different variety of pothos you don't often see. Um, I think I paid £6 for this. It was obviously like just like a little pot of them. So yeah, it's doing really well now. So this is the other side of the room that I don't usually give you this overview. You usually see this space, but you don't usually kind of see it all. But things have changed around. This is the wardrobe I was telling you about. It's got shelves inside it, so it kind of doubles up as like plant storage as well as like keeping my clothes. And the shelf is here. The reason the shelf is here is because there used to be like two very large monsteras here. One of them is above my head. It was taking up a lot of floor space, and also we needed to secure this to the wall because if my son ever climbs up on them, there's no chance of him like pulling it over. So that was like the priority of this room. So now, yeah, now we have a new setup. I really, really like it. I feel like it's like more feng shui, if that's like the right term. But I'll show you around the plants that we've got over here. Okay, so the first thing we have is the classic variegated monstera that you always see. I used to have 3 here, so this was a lot smaller when I bought it, as I've said. When the shelves were here, I used to have another one here on the shelf, and then I used to have another one on the top shelf. So it used to look like one mammoth monstera. Now it's just its own monstera. The moss pole is the same as the other one. It's like over 5 foot, and it's just a really beautiful plant. It's kind of like the most variegated leaf here. It's kind of hidden. The leaves are growing in smaller. That's what made me look at alternative methods, because they were just leant up against the wall before. They had no support. And I don't think I velcroed them to the moss pole or the cocoa coir pole, but I don't think now I can see how the other one is enjoying that alternative moss pole. These aren't cutting it for me, but these moss poles were only £10. I can use them on other plants as well, so if I do go to that other alternative, then it's not a waste. But yeah, we've got this here and we've got a few over here, so I'll turn you around. So here is this is the ripped out fireplace that I was talking about. I'm not sure what we're going to do with that yet, but it is original to the house, so we're going to leave it for now. But I've got 2 pothos enjoy. You can feel that they need a little bit of a water. They're getting a little dry. But I got these at the same time. This one is so big, it's okay. This one's like super long, and it's always giving me new growth, and it's kind of started giving me loads of new growth at the top as well, so it's like really bushy. I love this plant. I love that it's like mottled in places but also like white in other places. It's a really, really cool plant, just from IKEA, really cheap, like £6. So really love that. How many times can I say that? I really, really like this plant. It's really beautiful. And I think it's just like nice how it kind of just like falls there. I thought that might be annoying, but I hardly go in this wardrobe, and I'll move it if I ever need to go in. Up here we have a large monstera. I've got 2 of these. This one here and one in the corridor. The one in the corridor is more mature. You see how this has got like secondary fenestrations up there. This is less mature. This just suited the space to be here more, that's all. It was a bit wide to go in the corridor. This has been neglected. It's been at the bottom, like I said, on the floor, not getting much light. Also with the other one, so the leaves of the other one were kind of stopping sunlight getting to it, and this is like malnourished, but it's now getting liquid gold leaf. It's getting really good bright light. Yeah, so hopefully that, you know, perks up a bit. I love this pot. I forgot about this because it's been hiding. I love this pot so much. This is just from Home Sense, and I think this was like £8, and it's large, so it's a very good price. So over here is my desk space. I will go through this shelf, turning you around so you can see the plants easier. But as an overview, I've got about 3 plants on this shelf, 2 on this, and 2 on the top. I love these shelves so much. I've got these in multiple places around the house. The way I like them styled is very, I don't know if you would call this minimalistic, but for a shelf, it doesn't serve its like full purpose. Like below I've got like hundreds of coffee pods, which are great, and books and things that go and associate with work. But up here I like to keep it a bit lighter, less overloaded. So yeah, I don't know, I find these quite difficult to style sometimes, but I also equally really like this. But what would you do? Would you put some storage boxes in there? Like, I feel like I could maximize it better, but also keep in mind that little baby. So yeah. So we're going to start on this shelf. I've got my trusted gloves here. These are actually for people with eczema. I believe you put cream on and then wear these at night time. I used to go to boarding school with a girl that did that. Someone recommended them to clean your leaves, and they're amazing. So that's there. We've got this really beautiful ficus moonshine. Really beautiful, but I received it and I think it was very cold when it was sent, and it was absolutely saturated when I received it, so I think it went into shock. But I don't know. I just kind of hope that it recovers itself. But that's there. This is the Syngonium I was talking about that keeps producing white leaves. I think this leaf came a year ago, honestly. I'm just constantly getting white leaves, and I have cut it right down and grown it again. But yeah, and these leaves aren't looking so happy because I went away for a week and it couldn't handle it. It normally can. I go away all the time, like as in like I've been away a lot whilst owning this plant. So I don't know what's going on with that. But yes, it's a really, really beautiful plant. I think it's stunning. And then up here we have, this is my first variegated Monstera. This was a plant I grew for 2 years. It got spider mites. Yeah, I propagated it. So this was one of my favourite leaves. It went into shock when I kind of put it in the window. So it's not looking great, and it's got like it's got a new leaf coming through there, which looks very green, and then it's got that kind of like leaf there as well. So it's, oh, and there's one there as well, but it's not amazing, but I feel like it's okay now. It's an experiment. This is one of my son's toys that he got for his first birthday, which he can't have just yet because he kept getting his thumb stuck in here. But I think it's really cute, so it lives there. This, I will put the name on the screen. This was kindly sent to me by someone. She sent me some Killamite and also put this in as a surprise, and I absolutely adore it. It used to live in a cloche, basically to up the humidity, but now it just lives there. This plant is my, these are my two, I bring it out because it's a bit darker. These are my Cebu Blue. I bought these two plants that are in this pot for £5.99 each, I think. It's very heavy because I just watered it. And yeah, I potted them up together recently because it was kind of going a bit yellow and I think it needed some attention, but I love that. So that kind of lives just there. I'm going to assess the light here. If it doesn't get good enough light, I'm happy to move it. It's not a problem. Up here we have another variegated Monstera cutting. This was another favourite leaf. I thought it was really cool. It was one of the first with secondary fenestration, so I was extremely happy. And a fully green leaf. Woo! And then this one is the last variegated Monstera that I've got. So I've got 4 large in total. This is one that actually won from Plant Lovers. I went over to Belgium to actually tour their greenhouse in person, which was amazing, and I got to pick out one. So these 3 top leaves are new. It was this part of the plant. I think it's giving me a new leaf. I can't tell. Again, excuse the ceiling. We've apparently got much higher ceilings than we appear to have, which is cool. But yeah, I really love this. It does, oh, it did have a half moon. You see, that was perfectly half moon, well, apart from the bottom. It was browning over there in the greenhouse, but Dirk said, like the owner of Plant Lovers said, it will give you other similar leaves, which it has done here. But yeah, I really love this plant. It's a bit troubled in spots. So that's it for this video. That's all the plants I have in my plant room / office. Definitely more large plants. I am also thinking about bringing my Thai constellation in here because the light in here is a lot better because this partitioning wall is further into the plants, closer to the window. But I'm just a bit nervous because I've gone through a battle with thrips on that, so I need to be sure completely sure it's threat free. But I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe. I'd love to have you on my channel, and I will see you next week. Bye.